Are you guarding the
He's our
garden?
crop dog.
He's our crop dog. Hi, Ziggy. Good boy. Who's a good boy?
What up, you guys? So Rochelle has let me know that you all are looking forward to our garden tour. So let me take you for a little spin around the block here. So over here, don't mind my tall grass or my weeds in here, but this is what I'll call bed number 3. We've got cantaloupe in the back. There's mint growing everywhere in this yard, so don't mind that. But we've got a little cantaloupe babies, a few of them right here. Check them out. They're gonna be done in a couple weeks. These are delicious. I've got 3 of them. We've got some eggplant right here. As you can see, it's popping off some flowers, so we should have some fruit soon. Oh, look at this little guy. We have fruit right now. Do you see that? That's a little bud in there. You can see the green that will drop and turn purple. So one of the things I like to do is I like to grow things vertically because it saves space, and it also keeps room for other items in here. So you can grow a lot in like a little gardening area. Simply what we do is we just train the plant to go upwards. They'll want to go out and down. We need to just kind of weave them in over time as they grow. I'm just gonna kind of tuck this guy in, and it'll train itself up. But you see right here, they'll grab on and they'll actually start to hang from this. Then once they hang, they will grow their fruit. Sometimes it'll get a little heavy, but it works.
It's called square foot gardening.
This is one of the highlights of square foot gardening, is vertical gardening.
You want to show them the next bed?
Yep, so over here,
Oh.
we've got lemon cucumber.
Oh, I didn't know this was the lemon cucumber.
This guy is taking off. You can see a little bud right here. And this one also needs to be tucked up. Now they're lazy plants is what I call them, so they will try to not grow vertically. What we gotta do is you just gotta force them in there, tuck them through till they're locked. They'll hold their own weight. Now this one I'm gonna let go out because I don't have anything right here. Usually I have like 3 or 4 more plants. I've got grass problems this year, don't mind this.
Over here are all tomatoes, right? Well, there's one.
Yeah, so over on this side, I keep my tomatoes over here. They're kind of a clustery mess. Again, we do square foot gardening, and I try to train these to go vertical as well. So they don't always stick to my plan for them, but they do better when you just cluster them in. And so in the past, I've grown 1 or 2 tomato plants, and then I went for a fire by numbers technique where I just wanted to grow like 6 or 7 and just harvest as many tomatoes as possible. So that's what we're doing now. You'll see we have a ton of buds on here. There's just gonna be an astronomical amount of tomatoes here by the end of the year. So these little guys right here that grow in the clusters, these are Roma tomatoes, real hardy, real easy to grow. And then if you take a step back over here, we've got our heirlooms down here. So you can see the shape difference. So these kind of have like that red or that dark green on top and light green on the bottom.
They smell so good.
Those are gonna be delicious. And then these Romas, these are just kind of like what we make a lot of our keto food with. Sandwiches, burgers, whatever it is. They're pretty easy to grow, and they come in a lot. These guys kind of need to be tied up. They don't always listen to my request that they grow vertically. So I'm just gonna kind of break this branch in here.
You can do it later.
This will hold everybody in. So right here I made this little contraption. This is like me trying to grow cucumbers vertically. I have 2 on each side. Little cage. So I'm trying to train them around. Now right here, this is very special. I have my first cucumber.
What kind of cucumber is it, do you know?
I think it's just like a regular old-fashioned green cucumber, but it's got an interesting shape. So we will see. We'll see what this nets us. Again, I'm just gonna keep pushing these upwards as they go. My ultimate goal is to have these flow over that. This right here is, this came with our house. There used to be another garden here. This is asparagus. So every spring, no matter what we do, we get asparagus popping out of the ground. We get to eat it fresh. As you can see right down here, this is asparagus. Now during the summer, it wants to grow, flower, and then seed. So what we do is we just let it go. It's gonna turn into a huge bush. It's gonna get a bunch of seeds. It's gonna sit into the ground. It's gonna rain all winter. Hopefully, we live in California, so you never really know. And then next spring, it's gonna start popping up nice little asparagus for us to eat.
Wow, those leaves are huge. Here is my sunflower. This little pot used to be a bunch of sunflowers, and I didn't actually plant any. This just grew on its own from last year.
So this is gonna be my prize sunflower this year. It's the only one that's getting water. You can see the stalk on this thing. It is thick. So yeah, wait for a few more weeks and that's gonna turn into a beautiful flower.
He's doing a little maintenance because we just got back from vacation, so a bunch of weeds have grown over the last 10 days.
So over here I have my strawberry patch. Now, if you don't know, strawberries they live for a long time. So these strawberries are 2 years old. These guys are 3 right here. It's kind of a mess in here, sorry. But they are producing wonderful little strawberries.
They grow really deep under there, so you have to like really dig to find them. But it's also good because then the birds don't get them.
They're putting their little roots out.
That's cool. And
they are trying to expand. So next year, I'm not gonna have anything over here. So these right here are dead, but these were peas. Just rip these out. These were peas.
Sweet peas, right? Sweet peas. Or like
green peas.
Green snow peas, kind of. They were like sweet a little.
Yeah. So those are
done.
That's compost now. But anyways, other than that, I've got spaghetti squash growing in here. As you can tell, I have
we have a lot of spaghetti squash.
It's easy to grow. It doesn't take a ton of water.
And see how the vine is just hanging from the fence and it just holds it right there. Okay.
Now right here we have green beans. These probably went a little too long again for the last time. We just got back from vacation, but these guys grow nice and they like it here in California. So we're just gonna keep harvesting these little guys.
There's a lot of green beans that we could probably pick.
There's a ton.
But we're eating spaghetti tonight, so probably won't eat those tonight. Oh, this is the last bed. This is our 4th bed.
So
it looks kind of crazy.
Right here we have zucchini.
Whoa.
This is a big plant.
We just picked off those 2 huge zucchini, so I don't think there's any on there at the moment, right?
No, those ones are gone. And
we didn't do squash. Tell them about the squash. We decided
last year I did yellow squash, which I just grew way too much of it. I really don't want to see any more yellow squash in my life.
So way too much. We didn't grow any.
I made the conscious decision, and I also grew like 7 plants in this area, so it's really just hectic. This year I made the conscious decision to only grow green zucchini and spaghetti squash in this area, so you can see we have a little bit more spaghetti squash.
I feel like the spaghetti squash, there's like a lot of them.
Spaghetti squash keep for a long time, so that was my thought process. We also have an infestation of morning glory.
They're closed at the moment because it's nighttime, and in the morning time they open up
into a beautiful, like very vibrant purple. They're really gorgeous. They're very invasive.
I'll film some in the morning.
They're very invasive.
Yeah, they definitely take over.
As you can see down here, they'll kind of choke everything out.
If you let them.
If you let them, they'll just choke everything out if you let them. So I'm gonna have to remove some of them in here. Down here we have morning glory that really just kind of grew out of the dirt from the ones that lived last year. And
we're just kind of letting them go.
We're just gonna let them go.
We don't have the most like clean garden area, but it definitely works. It's not like the prettiest, but it functions. It's not fancy though. And the last thing right here, this is kind of like our compost area, or it used to be our compost area. And this little pumpkin actually started growing. I think it's a pumpkin. Started growing, but it's weird because we never had any pumpkins, so we're not really sure how this little guy came to be. So that's that.
Thank you guys for touring my garden with me. I'm excited. I love gardening. It's my complete disconnect from all things digital because that's pretty much how I live 24/7. So when I'm working on a computer or a server or anything computer related and I'm frustrated, I like to come out and just go through my garden, get my hands dirty, and watch things grow. Everything in here we planted from seed. There's no bot starts or anything like that. So
you can tell them a little bit about your compost tea if you want. No?
So another thing that we do is we compost all of our food, and we don't only compost it, but we make worm castings out of it. So a few years back, my parents for my birthday got me a worm casting machine. It was a huge surprise, and so we put all of our food compost into this little box. We'll show you this in another video if you guys want. Request it below. But yeah, so what we do is we compost all of our kitchen disposals, anything that's organic and green. We give it to the worms. They make worm casting. I make a compost tea out of that, and we can show you that in another video. But this is what my garden is fed on. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned next time, and